The United States government has launched a new online system for people seeking asylum at its border with Mexico. From now on, only those people who've registered on an app and who can show they have a sponsor in the U.S. will be accepted into the asylum process. DW's Carolina Chimoy and Ines Pohl traveled to the Mexican border city of Reynosa to find out what this new policy means for thousands of migrants hoping to enter the U.S.
The new immigration policies have created a dramatic challenge for these migrants from Haiti. Thousands are stuck here on the Mexican side of the border, trying to understand the new app. A pastor tries to explain, but many questions remain. Leo works for a refugee NGO. He too is trying to understand what the new US requirements mean for migrants.
I'm here to see what it's about and how I can help. I think it's through an app, as I understand it.
Next stop is a storage place. At least 3 times a week, he picks up warm clothes for the refugees. The nights are cold this time of the year. Leo tells us there are about 10,000 people in the region right now. In this camp, he's greeted with joy. Today he distributes socks for the children.
All I can do is help the people here. That's all I can do, even if it's only a drop in the bucket.
For most migrants here, figuring out how to register on the new app is the biggest problem. Grady Rodriguez, who fled Honduras, has no smartphone.
I'm stuck. I understand the U.S. with their new laws, it's fine. But here in camps like this, there are many of us who don't have money for a smartphone.
Grady is frustrated. He doesn't know what to do next. Before President Biden was elected, he promised to pursue a more humane migration policy. Now, in the middle of his term, there's little sign of it. Quite the contrary. Many fear that the new course he announced make things even worse. Desperation is the prevailing mood at this table, where migrants access a power supply.
I can't get into the app because everyone wants to get in.
I have a problem with the app because I go into it, the app sends me emails, but then I can't open them.
I tried to get in this morning to get an appointment this month, but I didn't understand anything.
Grady has lost hope. He just wants to be back home and leaves the camp for good without knowing how to pay for the trip.
And our Washington bureau chief co-authored this report. She joins me now. Ines, a more humane approach to migration is what the Biden administration promised. Now the gatekeeper is literally a machine. How does that go together?
Yeah, in a way, Nicole, the wall, Trump's wall, is replaced by this app. Well, you know, we have to be fair here. The situation at the border right now, or as it was before the new kind of law was in place, is also not humane. It's the opposite. People are on the road, some of them for years. There is no infrastructure on the Mexican side of the border. They're waiting there that the drug cartels let them over, cross the Rio Grande and other kind of areas to go into the United States. So President Biden is really in a dilemma. He needed to change that very situation, but this app indeed brings very many problems for the people there on the ground.
Walk us through the functioning of the app. How does it work, and what are the problems that people are encountering with it, maybe beyond what we just saw in the report?
Right, so as Grady said, many migrants, they don't even have a smartphone, and you need a smartphone to be able to download the app. to be able to download the app, you need a good internet connection. Once you have it downloaded, first of all, you really have to understand how it works. And I tried to download it myself. It's really complicated. It's not that easy. Then they send you something to your email. So to make a long story short, the whole process is complicated. But once you are in the system, you can apply. You need a passport to apply. Then the background check is taking place. And then on top of everything, you do need a sponsor and you do need to be able to afford a plane ticket. So basically that means that only those migrants do have a chance who are well off enough to afford all that.
Joe Biden asked migrants to not just show up at the border, but rather to apply for asylum from home and then fly into the U.S. That's an unrealistic scenario for many escaping hardship and poverty in the rest of the Americas. Will that do much to discourage the thousands of people who embark on that dangerous trek each year?
Well, Nicole, they put out a pretty similar program with Venezuela some weeks ago to kind of test it. So only people from Venezuela who applied through this app have a chance to get into the United States to get a work permit, and it kind of worked. So at least that's what the Biden administration says. Fewer people left the country knowing that they won't have any chance at all to get into the country if they have not applied through this app before they enter the border. So we shall see if this really changes the mind, because as you just said, most of the migrants, they don't come to the United States because they just want to have a nicer and better life. They are fleeing hunger, violence, traumatic situations, deaths, killings. So they have little to lose when they stay, because many of them tell us they will get killed or will die of hunger or diseases anyhow. So, we shall
We're
see
going to have to leave it there, Ines. I'm really sorry we're running out of time. Thank you so much, and great reporting.